Beautiful. All right, welcome. So I will go through this somewhat quickly, but it's going to be cool because, and we'll send out the offer at the end as well with the link to sign up. But our whole plan here and our whole goal here is just to leave this game better than we found it. And we do that through Project Hockey, and we do that by creating phenomenal content and experiences like this tonight. And we are going to have more and more of these coming up. And we're Christopher Steeg's coming on, former NHLer. Teddy Bluger is going to come back on again, plays for the Penguins right now. And so you're going to want to become a member because some of these are going to be members only. We won't invite everybody. So check that out as we go. But people ask all the time, like, why do you post stuff every day? Why Project Hockey? And to me, it's simple because skills developed over time. You've got three guys here. The guy in the middle plays for the Winnipeg Jets. The two on the left play pro hockey over in Europe. And this is after a skate in the middle of the summer, doing stick handling drills in my garage because they understand how important it is to not only skate, to not only, go to the gym, but also work on your hands when you're not at the rink. And the athletes and the hockey players that are doing this are the ones that are separating themselves. Quick little video here of two kids doing a Project Hockey challenge. You're racing. Let's go. Boom. This is what it's all about. All right. Two athletes, good athletes. They look exhausted. You got this kid on the left looking up at the clock because we put all our challenges to a timer. And you got this athlete right here in the red looking like he just got double shifted in the third period on a back-to-back night. And so these type of stimuluses and what our challenges create is exactly what happens in hockey games. And so what Project Hockey is from the top down, it's an app, right? That you log into, you create a profile. It's a lot like Facebook. Where you're going to have you have a whole community in there, mindset work, hockey IQ, skill set sessions, got everything you could ever ask for all inside of our Project Hockey app. And the beauty part of it is that we have cool opportunities like these that come around. These were old ones, but we are having Thatcher coming back on after the season. And Connor Garland said he'd come on again, and obviously Teddy Bluger as well. But you're going to want to become a member to get part in all these things. And so, like I said, we've got a big community in the app where you can talk to each other. Parents and guardians love it because it's social media that's safe, meaning it's protected and guarded by our coaches, and it's fully looked at by our coaches. And kids love it because it's social media, right? You can add each other as friends. You can give each other fist bumps. We have hockey IQ videos and mindset things. And so literally what I love about our app is that we are a daily development plan, meaning every single day there's something new in there. And so you click down, you press play, you get to watch the mindset video for that day.
What's that project?
If we have a hockey IQ video, you just go down, you press play, and it'll play it for you.
This video is taking a look at how elite players. So
so there's new hockey IQ videos, and I won't take a ton of time doing that right now because we got Ryder and George itching at it to get going here. But we also have fully stocked demo videos. So if you're scrolling through, you do the mindset work and you're like, okay, I got to warm up. I don't know what this is. You just click on it and it takes you to all those demo videos. Same thing here, right? Hockey IQ did it. Okay, awesome. Warm up did it. Okay, strength session. I don't know what lateral hops are. Click on it. Boom. It takes you all the demo videos and it just takes all that guesswork out for you. Skill sessions. We have these daily in our platform where it's one of our coaches taking through our members, whatever skill work it is that day. And if you notice, I just have a stick and a ball. It's all you need to do our program. And so we've got skill videos working on puck protection, toe drags, how to create space, all these different things that you can do from the comfort of your own home. And then the last little piece is just our challenges. And the cool part is, like I said, we do these all the time. And the cool part is you can log them and you click save up at the top, and it'll let you know if you did better. And so in your profile inside of the app, you can see like, oh, I've done 650 workouts. My PR for this is this. My data shows me this. My development's going up and up and up. And so it's really cool to be a Project Hockey member. And I wanted to showcase that. And some of you found us through Triple Deke. And so we've partnered up with Triple Deke. We're giving away a 14-day free trial. But since you're on this chat tonight, and we will send this in an email at some point, either tonight or tomorrow, depending when the video uploads. But when you go to sign up, use the promo code hockey in all caps, and it's going to give you a month off plus that 14 days. And so it's a really cool, unique way to get into our program, try us out for a long time for free, and just enjoy the benefits of all the different hockey development tools that we have and Project Hockey has to offer. And so that's my spiel. We will, if you guys and girls are muted right now, but if you have questions or if there's anything you need, please put them in the chat. But without further ado, I'll let George take it away.
Thanks, Danny. So guys, I'm George Guay. I'm typically will be the person who conducts the interviews on these type of Zoom calls. I've actually interviewed Ryder before on my own personal YouTube channel. It went really well. And I think my favorite thing about interviewing rising athletes that you guys will enjoy these Zoom calls down in the future is if it's a rising player, each year you see them get better and you can say, hey, I was on a Zoom call with them, or I realized how good they're going to be. And you see how much better these type of players get down the road. So Ryder, thanks for coming on. Really appreciate it. So
absolutely. Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. So my first question is, I think we got to learn about who you are as far back as possible. So could you tell us where you grew up and what the hockey culture was like? Maybe some players you idolized and what teams did you support?
Yeah, absolutely. For me, my childhood was a little bit unique compared to, what the average kid goes through. My dad, obviously, he played in the NHL for 17 years. So as a kid, I was always moving around to different states and stuff as a kid. And I actually started playing hockey in Stillwater, Minnesota. When my dad played for the Minnesota Wild, I spent 4 years there and in the youth hockey system before moving to New Jersey. And I played with the New Jersey Colonials and the New Jersey Youth Devils for a little bit. And I was there for a good chunk of time. I think 5 years it was until I gotten into the 5th grade. I moved to Michigan, and that's when I started playing for Little Caesars and Little Caesars Hockey Club in Detroit. And obviously, quite a few different organizations there, but once my dad retired, I stuck in Michigan and got to play for Little Caesars all the way until junior hockey. So,
yeah. So obviously you've been around in a lot of different places for hockey. So I got to ask, while you were playing, did you feel that you had a specific skill or part of your game that put you at a better advantage as to your opponents?
Yeah, for me, growing up every day, I think, you realize just how much you love the game of hockey by being around it so much. And, I obviously had the privilege of being around guys and watching guys and things like that. So I always wanted to, go in the basement, stick handle, do whatever I possibly could to help my game out on a daily basis. And as I continued to do that, I think as I kept growing older, I realized that my skating and my speed was something that kind of separated me from everybody else. And, especially where the game's going these days, you got to be able to skate. You got to be able to, fly around the ice out there to have success. And luckily for me, that's something I worked on from a very young age. And I think that's something, not only back then, but now is a trait of mine that kind of separates myself.
Yeah, for sure. It's great that you were able to figure that out at a young age, and it led to great success of going to the USA MTDP program. And I was just wondering, how did those guys find you? Because I've spoken to guys like Patrick Moynihan, Brett Berard, Matt Boldy. It's pretty a similar path to going there, but how did they find you?
Yeah, for me, I was playing in Michigan at the time when I was recruited there. And, the National Development Program is located in the Detroit area in Plymouth. So luckily for me, I had a little bit more exposure than, some other kids. They were at, the majority of my games when I was playing U16 for Little Caesars. So as the year went on, I kept, in contact with them more and more. And then once March rolled around, they sent out the invites for the 40-man evaluation camp. And, I was lucky enough to receive an invite, go to the tryout, which was an unbelievable experience, kind of the start of everything, and realizing, that you're not the only kid out there that, might have special attributes as a hockey player. You're not only playing against guys in your state anymore, you're competing against guys from your country. So I was able to attend that camp, and I was able to make the team out of that camp. So that was kind of my path to making that team. It was, a little bit different from everybody else because I was the only kid from Michigan actually to make that team that year. So, that in itself was pretty special as well.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely got to be different coming from Michigan, like you said. So many guys make, the big travel distance to go to that academy. I know that Cam York came from Anaheim, but so what was it like to be on that team? Was, in my opinion, it's definitely an all-time team in terms of the program. You have so many guys on that played on that team that are making impact right now in the NHL. Cam York, Cole Caulfield, Matt Boldy scored in his debut. Cam York got his first goal the other day. Spencer Knight, the future he has. What was it like playing with those guys?
Yeah, it was an awesome experience, and I think, a lot of the time you hear, about the program is, you're not only getting world-class development on the ice, but, you're making friends off the ice that, are your brothers for the rest of your life. And I think that's something I really cherish. I mean, I'm still super close with every guy I played with on that team, and, being able to see them have success and watch guys' individual paths, away from the program is pretty special. And, obviously practicing with guys like that every day at the program made me that much better. There wasn't a day where guys didn't show up and didn't work hard, and having that kind of talent on the ice every day was something super fun because, it makes you a better hockey player. You're playing small area games, every drill you're going with, guys like Trevor Zegras, Jack Hughes, Matt Boldy. So you're going to be pushed. And I think, for me, that really helped my game, and being able to be with, those guys is special because I feel like it helped my game elevate that much more.
Yeah, for sure. And you can tell when, guys like yourself and those other players I just mentioned, when they go to college, they definitely have an advantage over other players based on where they were before. Could you just take me through what the facilities are like there? Because obviously to produce future pro players and teams that are going to win gold medals at the World Junior Championships, just what are the facilities like, and just the experience of being able to train at that rink?
Yeah, it's a state-of-the-art facility. I mean, after they took it over, after USA Hockey took it over from the Plymouth Whalers, I mean, they made some big changes. They redid the weight room there, and there's an unreal weight room. It's huge. I mean, they have turf in there. I mean, anything you can pretty much imagine. And then a shooting room back there, but they redid the locker rooms and stuff. And I mean, they're like NHL locker rooms. There's not much to not like about it. So I mean, the facilities are unreal. You get treated like a pro there at such a young age. And I mean, you don't realize, how well you're treated there until you leave. But the facilities itself, between locker room, training staff, the weight room, you can't go wrong. There's nothing to miss there. So, looking at college facilities now, even NHL facilities, it's right up there with it. So being able to have that at your fingertips for 2 years was something that was pretty special for sure.
Yeah, it definitely makes it a great experience. So while you were at the academy, was there something that you felt that when you walked away, you were way better at than when you first arrived?
For me, I think it was just, I was a better all-around player and person. You go there so young, you're just a high schooler, right? So you're not too sure what you're getting into. You're not too sure what, the rest of your hockey career holds, and being able to get that exposure to represent your country at such a young age, it really teaches you to mature fast, and that's what I needed going there. I needed to mature fast in order to, make steps in the game of hockey, graduating there. So being able to have that, being able to represent my country, just kind of puts into perspective how much you have to, harness that, but also mature at the same time. And I think I got that, the best of both worlds there for sure.
Yeah, you definitely make a great point. So I got to ask, this is just a brief question. Were you committed before you got there to Notre Dame? Because I know a lot of guys are. Some people, still are on the roster. Chase Yoder committed to Providence kind of mid-season of his U18 year. Were you committed before?
Yeah, so I committed to Notre Dame in the summer prior to going into my U17 year, and I wasn't committed at the evaluation camp, but I was committed to going in there. Yeah.
Yeah. So what was your recruiting process like? Because I find it kind of interesting. You grew up in Michigan for an extended period of time. You go there for the program. What was it about Notre Dame that kind of made you say, hey, I want to go to a different place and play for this school?
Yeah, I mean, back then, obviously they've changed the rule now, but colleges recruited guys so early, and everything kind of happened so fast for me. I wasn't really sure what I wanted to do, where I wanted to go, but once I kind of got a little bit more comfortable with visiting schools and seeing what schools had to offer, Notre Dame obviously came up. And growing up in Michigan, it's obviously a school that's close. It's not Michigan, it's Notre Dame, because Indiana is only 3 hours from home. But my dad actually played college hockey for Jeff Jackson at Lake Superior State, so I kind of had a soft spot. And once I came down here to South Bend, visited, got to see the campus, I fell in love with it. And I was given the opportunity to play for the same college coach as my dad. And if I chose to go to another school, I wouldn't be getting that. And when I talked with my family, when I talked about what I wanted to do as a player, become a more well-rounded 200-foot hockey player, work on my details, I thought, playing for Coach Jackson, who coached my dad, and, knowing what to expect, and also getting, the elements of hockey, in the teaching aspect of things that I wouldn't have gotten in other places. So it was kind of, a culmination of campus, obviously school, playing for Coach Jackson, getting to learn the details of the game, that led me to making the decision of committing to Notre Dame.
Yeah, and I think it's got to be awesome to see your dad watch you play for Coach Jackson. It's really full circle, and how well he's doing it, not only for yourself and how you're playing, but your team also. So you went to the USHL after the USANT DP. Could you just talk about what factored into making that decision, and what were the benefits of it?
Absolutely. So for me, I was in a little bit more of a unique situation coming out of the national team. I was there for my 10th and 11th grade years of high school, where the majority of guys are there for 11th and 12th grade. And that was just because of my birthday. Like I'm a late birthday. So I'm a year behind all those guys in high school. And I still had a year to play before I could move on to college. And, in a way, I've been saying this, I think it's a blessing in disguise that I was able to do that. I was, lucky enough to get the opportunity to play in Waterloo, play for Coach Shane Fukushima and PK O'Hanley, who are obviously, now country renowned, world renowned coaches. And like I said before, making the decision to go to Notre Dame was kind of based off of getting exposure to the details of the game, and doing everything that I had to do to learn to be a pro hockey player, and find success with that. And going to Waterloo is kind of where it all started. They're, they play with a structure, and obviously PK O'Hanley coaches his players in a way where, you have to be good at the details of the game. You have to be a 200-foot player to earn trust. And for me to go there for a year, learn that, understand that, take steps into, adding that to my game was something that helped me so much going into college. And I obviously can't say enough things about that organization. It's a world-class organization, and in my opinion is just as world-class as the USNTDP. So playing in Waterloo was something that I'll always remember. And I think, for me was a great decision and a great thing to happen for me.
Yeah, it's definitely worked out. I've heard great things from other players who played in the USHL for that team specifically. So I remember when I interviewed you about a year ago, before you were going to Notre Dame, I asked you about what was it like going to playing that sports culture. You're at a school where every team is competing for a national championship. It's not a school where like North Dakota or Boston University, where like the hockey team is really representing the school so much more than other teams, and there's really big challenges with that. So what's it like, sharing that experience of dealing with the pressures of competing for national championship, and also watching your other fellow classmates succeed, like going to football games and things like that?
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely something that's unique. You get in the college life, right? It's not only you, but it's, the best athletes from around the world in their respective sport. And so, competition aside, being able to build relationships in class with these people, like I have classes that I'm not in class with any of my teammates, but I'm in class with like some of the lacrosse guys, some of the football guys that I've gotten to know. And I think that in itself is super special. Obviously, Notre Dame is a small school, only 8,000 students. And, especially this year being a normal year without COVID, find myself saying hi to 5-6 people going to class, which I think, is something that's awesome. Being able to build those connections and relationships is something super special. And, and like you were saying, in a sports world, seeing all these guys and building relationships with them, going to football games, going to other sports games, guys on the field, and being able to have those relationships and watch them do what they do best in their respective sports as well is something that's cool. And obviously only happens in college. So you got to kind of enjoy it while it lasts,
Yeah, for sure. It's got to be special and just helpful that a lot of the other student athletes are dealing with the same challenges you are, and they appreciate their sports just as much as you do, and things like that. So, what was it like getting drafted? And your team, you also were part of a trade, being a prospect. You go from Colorado to the Chicago Blackhawks, an original 6 team that's won numerous Stanley Cups in the last 10 years, but what's the experience of getting drafted, but also knowing that, hey, I'm going to be hopefully playing for a different team one day now?
Yeah, I mean, you grow up, and I mean, it's cliche, but every hockey player's dream is to hear their name called in the draft. And, for me, it was a little bit different of an experience because of COVID, and wasn't sure what was going to happen. And, they obviously were having the NHL Combine back in March there, and all that got canceled. And obviously, not only me, but everybody else that I knew that was draft eligible that year was super bummed out by it. So that in itself kind of, I wasn't really sure what to expect. And, luckily the NHL came together and decided that they would do a virtual draft in October there. And I remember talking to you, I was actually at school. And, going through the process that summer of talking to teams on Zoom, all the meetings and stuff was super stressful. But, I just tried to enjoy it to the best of my abilities because it's a once in a lifetime thing. You're talking to, 32 NHL teams in the summer. So that was pretty special. And then obviously, time passed and the draft came along. I was lucky enough to hear my name called by the Avalanche, and being able to share that moment with my family, who's been around the game for so long and kind of second generation coming through. And for me was super, super special moment. And then obviously fast forward to the NHL trade deadline. There's a funny story, actually. I was in class and I was oblivious to the NHL trade deadline even happening. Like, I didn't even put 2 and 2 together, but my phone was ringing during class, and I look at my phone and it's Joe Sakic's calling me. So I wasn't too sure what was going on. So I had to leave class, and sure enough, hey, we moved you to Chicago. And I remember I was kind of in shock. I was like, wow, like it happened so quick. And not usually you hear, prospects get moved like that, but obviously, I'm super excited to be with the Blackhawks organization. I think, the people in the organization that I've worked with so far, such high class, and obviously just a privilege to be, associated with them. And obviously we'll see what the future holds, but I'm super excited for sure.
Yeah, you must be excited that, they saw something in you. There's a lot of prospects out there, and they see your potential and they wanted you to come to Chicago. So obviously, you had your first COVID season, no fans. Colleges having trouble trying to follow rules with the pandemic, and things are changing left and right. To me, I don't think it's fair to really evaluate or judge any freshman player that year because nothing was ordinary. So, you made a big jump this year. What was the key to, really doing that and kind of getting back to the player that you were, when you were with Waterloo and at the National Team Development Program?
Yeah, for me, obviously last year with COVID and everything was a hard year, and we only played Big Ten schedule, so it was hard to kind of jump right into play. And obviously, how Coach Jackson is, he doesn't give any leash to any of his players, and I think that's what makes our team so good, is because everything's earned, right? And for me last year, it was about learning the details, learning everything that I had to do to be successful at the college level, and understanding how I needed to play in Coach Jackson's system. And Obviously, I feel like last year was a learning experience for me. I was able to kind of adapt and learn, not only from the coaches, but the upperclassmen as well. And, COVID year was definitely hard to deal with at times with no fans, shortened season. So I think the only thing that can kind of come of that was just a lot of lessons learned, and kind of preparing myself for the future. And, lucky enough for me, I came in this year with the right mentality. I came in a lot stronger. I had a big summer, and I was given a lot of opportunity this year to come in and be a primary scorer for this team, and be a guy that was leaned on and given opportunities to play on the power play, the penalty kill, and things like that. And I've done everything that I can to produce and take advantage of those opportunities, and I feel like I've done a good job of that so far. And I've kind of just run with it, trying to have fun, not let the ups and the downs of the season get to me that much, and just kind of take everything that I've learned and apply it to my game this year, and, continue playing the way that I have in the past, and hopefully continue having success.
Yeah, for sure. It's got to be fun, having fans in the building too for the first time. College is normal for you. You're playing well, team's playing well. So my last question is, it has to do with the team. Frozen Four is in Boston this year, and that's on the ice for the Irish every year. You guys you're pretty consistent being in the top 10. I was amazed how you guys went into Michigan and swept them, which a lot of people didn't think would be possible, given a lot of people labeled them as the favorites before the draft even started. So what do you think you guys need to work on before you guys get to the conference playoffs and hopefully the NCAA tournament? Because, we've got some guys going to the Olympics, and some teams aren't going to have their players. It's going to get interesting.
Yeah, well, first and foremost for us, I think, the culture of our team is what makes our team so good. We have leaders who know how to play the right way, buy into the system. And, for that to happen, it just makes it that much easier for everybody else, younger guys underneath these captains to buy into what they're preaching, right? Like, we added guys out of the transfer portal that played in other schools that came in here and made an impact right away. And, it's been a privilege to play, with my teammates. I think this is probably the best group of guys that I've ever been with. And, just to be able to spend time with them on a daily basis, and, go to practice, go to the rink every day with them, and just understand how unique the culture that we have here at Notre Dame is. And I think that's what's made us so successful. And lucky enough for us, we're not losing anybody to the Olympics. So, our team chemistry, our camaraderie is not going to get changed by anybody leaving or anything like that. And obviously, Minnesota and Michigan, they're each losing at least 3 guys. So, for us, we can take advantage of that when we play them to, maybe they'll have their best players missing and things like that we can take advantage of. But, I think for us, it's just consistency. We've proven, even when guys have their full lineup, that we can beat anybody in the country. And for us to have that confidence moving forward and playing, in Coach Jackson's system and executing that the best that we can, I think, there's nobody in college hockey that can beat us. And I feel like we haven't even hit our stride yet. I think we have, so much potential to make a run. Obviously, like you said, the Frozen Four being in Boston this year is something that we have our eyes on. But, the thing is for us is making sure, it's a day at a time for us, focusing on, we play Boston College this Wednesday, and finishing strong in the Big Ten so that we can put ourselves in a good position moving into the Big Ten playoffs, and then, hopefully rolling after that. So I think, for us, it's making sure that we stick to everything that we've been preached to, but also just embracing the culture that we have as a group, because it's made us successful to this point.
Yeah, for sure. You guys definitely have a great chance of getting to Boston. And I would love to see you go to Boston, being from there and only living about 30 minutes from the Garden. I think that'd be cool to see. That's all I have to ask. I hope that pretty much covered Ryder's hockey journey. I know there's a lot more after this going forward, but Ryder, thanks for doing that. And I think we'll turn it back to Danny for a little Q&A from the fans.
Absolutely.
Awesome. We got about 10 more minutes here. Thank you, Ryder. That was a phenomenal story. It's cool that just goes to show, like, it's not one fits all size for hockey players, right? Like, there's so many different routes and so many different ways that you can get to where you're at, and hopefully you can continue that. But we'll take about the next 5-6 minutes here and do a little Q&A. So if you have questions, drop them in the chat right now, and I can ask them to Ryder for you. But the first one, from Coach Club. Being a student athlete, what advice can you give about managing your time with school, hockey, workouts, social life, etc.?
Absolutely. For me, I was a little bit new to coming in and playing for your school. Like, I've never done that before. So it took me a little bit of getting used to, but the beauty of Notre Dame is we have so many resources in terms of, tutors, advisors, and, we're kind of put into situations to have success. And so for me, the biggest thing was getting into a routine. I think a routine, is something that helped me so much with balancing my schoolwork and being able to kind of shift mindsets between school and hockey. So for me, in the mornings, we go to school, have about 3 classes a day that last for either 50 minutes or an hour and 15. And after that, I kind of just set school aside and go to the rink and do everything with my teammates, just kind of lock in for the 3 hours that we're at the rink. And then when I get home, I take care of any homework that I have. And I think that's just what I've gotten used to, and it's worked for me. And, anything like for a student athlete, my advice would just be to find a routine that works and stick to it, because it's going to keep your mind divided between everything that you need to have it, focused on, and it'll help you that much more. Love
that. Yeah, I think routine is huge, especially when you're going to school is a full-time job, playing hockey is a full-time job. And so balancing it takes some work. And so absolutely finding that and sticking to it. Carson wants to know pregame routine and meal. Do you have something specific?
Yeah, I'm pretty by the book, plain Jane, with my routine, my pregame meal. In college, another thing is too, like, they have your pregame meal for you at the rink. So on Fridays, I still have to go to class in the morning, which sucks. But no,
8 a.m. class or what?
No, thankfully I don't have an 8 a.m. class this semester. So that's big for me.
Yeah.
But no, yeah. So after class, we go to the rink and we'll usually have a team meeting, PK, power play meeting, and then they'll have chicken and pasta there for us ready to go. And that's kind of what my meal is. I don't necessarily get to choose, but before I got to college, that was pretty much my meal too. So nothing too crazy there. Pre-game routine, get to the rink, I'll change into my gitch. And the first thing I do, I'm pretty particular with my sticks. I'm kind of a stick nerd, so I might make sure my sticks are perfect and how they want to be. I'll get 3 of them ready to go. And after that, I'll usually stretch right in front of my stall. Not too crazy. I'll do a little stretch, and then we'll go in for our team meeting and our penalty kill meeting. And then after that, our team will go upstairs for a dynamic warm up before getting ready for warm up. So that's kind of my pregame routine.
Awesome. What other sports did you play, and what was it like? And what was it like playing for the New Jersey Colonials?
Yeah. So I'll be completely honest with you. I didn't play any other sports as a kid. Mostly it was because I was completely like moving around all the time and was kind of trying to just find new friends wherever I was. And obviously, like, I loved hockey so much that I basically didn't want to do anything else. So that's kind of how that was. In terms of playing for the Colonials, I don't remember much playing for the Colonials because I was so young. Obviously, world-class organization. Now you see them every year making runs at the national championship and things like that. But what I do remember more is I played for the Youth Devils for I think 3 or 4 years after that, and I can't say enough good things about that organization. I absolutely loved it. I still keep in touch with guys I played with on that team, and definitely one of the best times I had as a kid playing hockey. So
it's awesome. Yeah, I've had that debate 1,000 times. Like, should you play other sports? And I was the same way. I grew up, I didn't play any other sport besides hockey, and it's one of those things how, like, the whole thing, college coaches love when you're a multi-sport athlete. And yes, they do. But when it comes down to it, like, they're going to take the best hockey player. And it doesn't matter if you played 10 sports or no sports. And so, yeah, I think as long as it's something you love and you can do it as much as you want without getting burned out, then that's your fit, right? That's what works for you. And so
no question. Yeah.
It's cool. All right. A couple more here. We got like 2 more minutes. So how was your first year compared to now? And was there anyone you looked up to when you first got to Notre Dame?
Absolutely. So my first year was big learning experience. I mean, wasn't too sure what to expect. Even with the COVID year, it kind of added to it. But I kind of was just trying to be a sponge last year, soak in everything and really adapt to what I needed to do to be successful. And obviously, at Notre Dame, being a freshman, it's hard. You have to understand the right ways to play the game in order to, earn trust from the coaches and earn opportunity. And so that's what I tried to do. And obviously going into this year, I was given the opportunity to take a step and play in a primary role. And, thankfully last year, everything that I went through last year in terms of learning helped me to, have success this year. And that helped me so much. But, a lot of credit has to go to, the senior class that we had last year, guys like Colin Tyson, Matt Hellickson. They helped me so much. I mean, I looked up to them, and they were guys that have obviously, gone through it before. And obviously, guys in the junior class as well, Alex Steves, Michael Graham, they kind of took me in under their wing, and I was able to build relationships with them. And, guys that they knew the ropes. Nick Leverman too, another guy that I really learned from and is still here to this day. So, not just one guy, it was kind of our whole junior and senior class last year that I looked up to and was able to learn from. So I can't give enough credit to those guys.
Awesome. Okay, we got a few minutes. Let's kind of go rapid fire here. Just like a sentence or two for each question here. So were you nervous when you switched teams? That's what David asked. I'm not sure which teams he's talking about, but maybe when he got traded.
Not as much as when I got traded, because I mean, I'm not, necessarily a part of those teams yet, but I mean, growing up and in college, moving from the USHL to college, I was a little bit nervous just because, in a locker room with a bunch of, new guys. So that's kind of the new thing. Getting adjusted to different organizations made me a little bit nervous, but I mean, I found my way and obviously, made the best of friends.
Absolutely. Any superstitions?
No superstitions. I was kind of
a certain way.
I mean, yeah, I've always taped my stick kind of a certain way. But my dad kind of preached to me, don't be superstitious, don't be mental. So
yeah,
I kind of tried to stay away from that.
For sure. It can get dangerous. There's some guys that go deep with those things.
Oh, we got some guys on our team that are big with that. So it's kind of fun to see.
Is there any crazy one that's in the locker room that's just off the top of your head?
The goalies are pretty crazy.
Yeah.
We got a few guys who won't let the bottom of their stick touch the floor before games. I think that's absolutely crazy.
Yeah, that's insane. Yeah,
they'll keep their stick up and they'll hold it on the wall a certain way so it won't fall and won't touch the ground. So
I love that. Yeah, we would have guys on our team that wouldn't have it upside down because they think goals fall out at the end of the knob. So always keep it upright. Okay. I think we only have like two more here. What's the atmosphere like playing at Notre Dame?
It's awesome. I mean, this year we have, all our students are back, all our season ticket holders are back, and, we pretty much play in front of a packed barn every night. So being able to experience that on the ice, be back in an atmosphere, you have, a lot of noise. It just helps you that much more. It energizes you. Obviously you played, what it's like to play in front of, large crowds. It's completely different and it's been unbelievable.
That's awesome. Okay, last question from Jeremy. I like this one. It's kind of I'll just read the whole thing and then you can kind of pick at it. I think I might have missed this. Okay, so were there any things that you did outside of hockey that schools looked at when they were in contact with you, like volunteer work, stuff like that, etc.? Is there anything you'd change about your development looking back? Anything you do differently?
I wouldn't say there's anything that I would do differently because, obviously in the future, you're going to have, certain, I guess, opinions or ideas on whatever happened in the past. But, I'm a big believer in trusting the process. Obviously, you hear that everywhere you go, but it's the truth. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. And, being able to buy into that and understand, that the ups and the downs are what's going to make you a better player. And, it's hard. It's easy to kind of get after yourself in the moment of when things are going bad, but, there's nothing I would change. And in terms of what teams looked at, there wasn't a whole lot. I mean, they kind of look at, what kind of student are you, things like that. So I mean, I think the most important thing is, school, taking care of your schoolwork, making sure you're on top of your school because, obviously your parents and your teachers are telling you to stay on top of your grades. You don't want to hear it, but, for NHL general managers, that's just as important as the kind of player you are, making sure you have good grades and making sure you're a good student and classmate.
For sure. Those things can go a long way. So, well, we appreciate you coming on. I know you're super busy, especially you're in the heart of your season. So thank you very much. I know our members and the people that join this chat echo that as well. But any closing thoughts or like last bit of advice you'd give to the people listening right now?
I think the only thing that I got, obviously, it's a pretty young crowd. And, for me growing up and playing for Little Caesars, I mean, those were the best times I ever had playing hockey. Some of my best friends to this day are guys that I played with on Little Caesars. And it's so fun going to the rink, not having any worries, dropping your bag in the locker room and getting dressed right out of your bag and running out on the ice. I mean, it goes by so fast. And, even parents to this day are so, mind focused on getting their kids to the next level. Is he going to play USHL? What is he going to do? College, this, that, and whatever. And I think it's so important to just enjoy the process, enjoy youth hockey, enjoy your teammates, enjoy school. Cause I mean, once you get older, if you're good, you move away from home at such a young age, and being able to just enjoy being at home with your buddies, playing hockey and, whatever it may be is so important. So that's my kind of closing statement. It's just, enjoying the moment, enjoying everything you have going for you right now, because it's going to help you that much more in the future.
I love that. Well, again, thanks for taking the time. We'll be in touch. And if anybody has a question that they just didn't get answered and they'd love for it, you can always shoot us an email and we'll try to get that answered. But have a great day, everyone. And again, we'll get an email out with that exclusive deal where you get a month off plus the 14 days. So promo code hockey, and we'll get that link over pretty quickly. So thank you very much, Ryder. Good luck. You're getting some thank yous in the chat, which is awesome. And good luck the rest of the season. I know I'm a fan of Notre Dame now, so good luck, and we'll continue to follow you.
Absolutely. I appreciate you guys having me. It was awesome.
Absolutely. Take care, everyone. Stay safe. If you're in lockdown or whatever with quarantine, I know up in Ontario, you guys are going through that. Good. Stay strong. Keep getting on those outdoor rinks and take care. Happy hockey, everyone.